things begin. Wait,
The quote.
the quote is, as you begin to notice things, things begin to notice you. Pops in my head while I was reading Philip K. Dick's A Scanner Darkly in the Scene. When the Bureau is testing Fred in the scramble suit, who is also Bob Archer, for psychological damage due to taking the drug, which he's supposed to be taking to infiltrate the substance D mafia clique, whatever, and he is beginning to notice the things that are fucking him up.
The lawnmower started, so I wanted to get closer to your voice. Or to your...
Bob/Fred's beginning to notice that in the midst of acting out these two personalities, there's a third personality that he is in limbo with a lot, and I don't have the rest of it. That's pretty much it.
I love that notion on the meaning of the quote. I don't have it memorized. Can you say it again?
As you begin to notice things, things begin to notice you.
Right. Did you ever see the original movie Point Break?
Yes.
And so the lawnmower stuff that goes on right before they do that operation. The FBI uses lawnmower stuff to mute the sound.
Wow.
I don't know. It's raining outside. I wasn't expecting them to be doing lawnmower stuff. When I was hanging out with Theron, my brief housemate, he's wrote a song about magic of me, but he took it down in spite. Bless his heart. And I couldn't follow his now wife on Facebook anymore just because it is what it is. Right. The dude is magical and with some amazing energies, and he's fearless of any human being. And he said, with you and I talking on this rock, I wouldn't be surprised if helicopters didn't fly over. And 6 minutes later, 3 helicopters fly over.
What'd you say? Like,
well, would you say that quote again?
As you begin to notice things, things begin to notice you.
That's part of what I heard, not so succinctly put, but at the Grand Midway Hotel, and I believe to be true, that some of these paranormal chasers, as they look for things that are odd, notice them. Yeah. And are bizarre and not going to fit a traditional narrative. Part of what I imagine is that when I study gypsy scams and when I study confidence games, but especially gypsy scams and pickpockets are a commingling of two different secret languages.
Okay, yeah.
Or I think more accurately put is that the pickpocket developed a professional argot that was engineered to be good in secret. The gypsies more relied on circus and theatricality and environments that they could create confusion and escape from, where the pickpockets were engineering themselves to be stealth. And I imagine that those get used in concert on the highest human engineering levels.
Okay.
And so along these lines, I have trouble with my friends who want to question me about how can I possibly believe that any parts of 9/11 were an inside job. Yeah.
Just the last part.
It just takes effort because it is a weird thing. Yeah. It's back to the blinding of intelligences and part of what I view as mind control and manipulation. And when you study the craft of mind control and manipulation, the craft of mind control and manipulation studies you. It's going to happen. And so I've had some crazy making in my life, but something that I view as an unintentional gaslighting is when a friend will question me along the lines of how can I possibly imagine that any part of 9/11 is an inside job. How can I possibly imagine? I can imagine a lot of impossible things. This one just happens to appear to me as more possible than some of the other really absurd shit I think about. And boy, there are a lot of weird things. And I'm just curious if since we're in this question asking game, when do you think we stop using false flags? Can you define false flags? False flags is when a government attacks itself under a false flag to inspire war. When did we stop using false flags? What year? When did we? Right? As long as you're asking me.
I was born in 1996.
Before I answer, how can I possibly think that parts of it were an inside job? I'll get to that. I hear you. But riddle me this first.
Yeah, seriously.
When did we stop using false flags? As soon as you answer that.
Gladly move on to the next
Right. And so in today, there are those that want to color me crazy for entertaining ideas that parts of 9/11 were an inside job. And they imagine that I should be medicated for having that thought. And reading Philip K. Dick was a destabilizing event in my life.
You're saying that, or are you saying that?
I'm saying that.
Really?
I think it's healthy.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. Talk to me about why you're so sure that it's healthy.
No, seriously.
I'm trying to. This will help me. I need to know.
Hang on. There's.
Okay.
I saw this thing on Facebook that explains that statement perfectly.
Sure.
This is a quote by I.D. Shanti. In my experience, everyone will say that they want to discover the truth right up until they realize that the truth will rob them of their deepest held ideas, beliefs, hopes, and dreams. The freedom of enlightenment means much more than the experience of love and peace. It means discovering a truth that will turn your view of self and life upside down. For one who is truly ready, this will be unimaginably liberating. But for one who is still clinging in any way, this will be extremely challenging indeed. How does one know if they are ready? One is ready when they are willing to be absolutely consumed, when they are willing to be fuel for a fire without end.